Hey fam, and welcome to the Happily Ever Active podcast, where Disney magic meets health and wellness. I'm Stephen Kabibi, your friendly personal healthcare companion, and I help Disney travelers walk more, hurt less, and enjoy the magic without burnout. This week, we're going to be talking about something that is crucial, especially during the holiday season at Disney. What exactly causes the Disney overwhelm and how to stop yourself from melting down? We're going to go over what's really going on in your body when you're overwhelmed, how having a strategy to fight that meltdown prevents pain, improves endurance, and improves your ability to remember those magical moments, why it's so easy to let the Disney overwhelm completely take over your vacation, and much more. And today I'll be giving you my Anti-Meltdown Action Plan so that you'll be able to walk more, hurt less, and be more present on your next Disney vacation. Find everything, including my pocketbook guide, Disney Ready, your pain-free park survival guide, over at fitforthemagic.com. And if you learned something useful on this episode, please share the show and tell a friend. Okay, here we go. Picture this. You're in the middle of Main Street, USA at the Magic Kingdom. It's the middle of December. The Christmas spirit is in the air. The decorations are stunning. The smell of gingerbread fills your lungs. And it's honestly one of the most beautiful things you'll probably ever see. But it is also 2 p.m. on a Saturday. The park is at capacity. You're shoulder to shoulder with thousands of guests. The holiday music is blasting on a loop, the children are screaming, and then suddenly you see it. You see a family near the castle, but they're not taking a photo together. Instead, they're snapping at each other. Maybe the dad's yelling, the mom's starting to cry, maybe the kids are in full-on meltdown mode. Now, we look at this and we might think, wow, bad attitudes. Or maybe we judge ourselves and then we somehow become that family. But today, I want to ask you a question. Is it bad attitude or is it physiology? The truth is, what we call the Disney overwhelm is actually a very specific physiologic event. It's not a character flaw, but it is your body perceiving the crowds, the noise, and the pressure as a legitimate threat. So today we're going to treat the Disney overwhelm exactly like we would treat a sprained ankle or a pulled muscle. We're going to look at the physiology of why you melt down, and then I'm going to give you my simple 4-step physical therapy strategy to fix it right then and there at the Disney parks. So stay tuned because we're about to break down the body to save the vacation. The Disney overwhelm isn't just emotions running over you. We need to stop looking at it like you're just being cranky or emotional, and instead start looking at it as a series of physical and chemical mechanisms going on in your body. Now, let me explain. When you're in the parks during the holiday season, your body is getting hit with a triple threat. But if you're not even aware of what's happening, you can't stop it. So first, there is the sensory overload. And this is really an input problem. It's not just that the music is loud or the crowds are swarming you. It's that your brain is processing thousands of micro signals every second. You've got moving parts from the parade float. You've got the screams coming from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You've got the double-wide strollers getting too close for comfort and that constant thought of, don't bump into that person. So what's going on in your body is that your brain's threat detector, the amygdala, gets stuck in the on position. It's frantically scanning for danger because there's just too much happening at that time. You're not just walking down Main Street, USA. You're in a high alert state. That high alert state then leads directly to problem number 2, the constriction trap. When we get stressed or overwhelmed, we instinctively stop our natural, slow, deep breathing into our bellies, and then we switch to what's called apical breathing, which is a shallow, rapid breathing right up in the chest. The next time you get stressed or overwhelmed, I want you to watch what happens to your breath. Your breaths get quicker and more shallow, and your upper chest and shoulders start to rise. And here's why it matters. When you breathe into your upper chest, you're physically triggering your fight or flight system. It's like pulling the fire alarm on your own body. Your body then responds by pumping cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream. Now, you're not just anxious because you're in a 90-minute wait for rise of the resistance. You're chemically anxious because your breathing pattern signaled to your brain that you're in danger when you're obviously not. Finally, that leads us to our third problem of this trifecta: static tension. Healthcare practitioners call this a lot of different things: protective muscle guarding, static tension. They really all describe the same thing. When it gets crowded, like when you're shoulder to shoulder during the fireworks, your body subconsciously tries to make itself smaller and harder as a protective mechanism. You hike your shoulders up to your ears, you clench your jaw, and you tighten your glutes, among other things. I mean, everyone has different ways to subconsciously do this sort of thing. You may only do one of these things. You may do all of these things. Me, personally, I clench my jaw. So I tend to feel it a lot higher up, which can also lead to a lot of neck tension, personally. The next time you feel stressed or anxious, notice where you hold your tension. And honestly, that's half the battle for the Disney overwhelm. The thing is, you might hold this pose for hours without even noticing it. And that's why you get those headaches at the base of your neck or that throbbing in your lower back. It's not necessarily from all the walking, although that does play a role. It could be from the tension that you're holding together amidst all the chaos all day. We're thinking like 14 hours, right? So you've got a brain entirely on high alert, a respiratory system that's signaling danger, and muscles that are locked in protective tension. That is why you melt down. It's not an attitude problem. It's a physiologic response, something that we can change. You might be thinking, why does this matter anyways? Why should we care about regulating our nervous system when really all we want to do is ride Frozen Ever After? Here's the deal. If you can learn to switch off your alarm system, if you can manually down-regulate your body and turn that switch from fight or flight back to rest and digest, you unlock 3 massive benefits that will save your vacation and allow you to truly enjoy the magic. That first benefit, pain prevention. And this makes me really happy to talk about as a doctor of physical therapy. Remember that posture that we had just talked about? That static tension where your shoulders are up to your ears and your jaw is clenched? When you regulate your nervous system, your body starts to automatically drop that tension. You stop muscle guarding. And when you stop muscle guarding, your neck and shoulders relax, your lower back decompresses, and that headache starts to fade and melt away. Less stress quite literally equals less physical pain in this case. The second benefit is the most important one for a Disney trip: memory retention. Okay, check this out because I think this is really cool how your body's physiology affects your memory. When your cortisol levels rise from that constant low-level stress at Disney, it actually impairs the function of your hippocampus, that part of your brain that's responsible for forming new memories. I want you to let that sink in for a hot second. You spent thousands of dollars, planned for months, maybe flew across the country to make magical memories, right? But if your body's in a state of biological overwhelm, your brain physically struggles to make new core memories. By staying calm and regulated, you're ensuring that you actually remember the magic vividly once you get home. And finally, that third benefit is physical endurance. Being in a state of high alert is expensive to your body. That is, energy expensive. It takes a ton of energy to maintain that high alertness. In other words, it burns through your Disney battery fast. And if you don't know what I mean by Disney battery, you might want to go back to episode 16 about how to recharge your Disney battery so you can have a pain-free vacation. But in short, your heart rate goes up, your muscles are constantly firing, and your brain is slowly spiraling. It is exhausting. If you want to make it from rope drop to fireworks without crashing at 2 p.m, you have to stop that energy leak. You need to keep your powder dry. Instead of firing off energy constantly and wasting it on stress and anxiety, you're saving your energy for the fun stuff. The more important stuff, of course. You want to have enough left in your Disney battery to actually enjoy the fireworks, not to just try and survive it. Okay, so now that we've come to this point, you're probably thinking, okay, Steven, that sounds great. I'd love to have dry powder, keep my Disney battery full, and make vivid memories, of course, core memories. But have you seen the crowds during the Christmas season at Epcot or Magic Kingdom? Look, it's really easy for me to say, relax, and then end the episode there. But it's really hard to do it when you're in the thick of it. And in my experience, there are 3 things that tend to stop us from even hitting that reset button. One of those things is called, or I'm going to call it, the happy tax. But you know it when I describe it. It's that guilt that we feel because of the price tag. We tell ourselves, man, I spent thousands of dollars on this trip. I have to be excited. I must be happy every single second. But here's the reality. That pressure creates a negative feedback loop. The harder you try to force the magic, the more stressed you become when things go slightly wrong. Trying to force happiness actually blocks real relaxation and, ironically, real happiness. But look, it's not your fault. Society and social media have trained us to believe that a magical vacation looks like an Instagram reel where you get to do everything perfectly, of course, because you paid for it, right? But to break that loop, you have to give yourself permission to accept that sometimes things just don't work out the way you'd planned. And that's okay. By the way, pro tip, a simple way to beat this is just to pick 1 or 2 maximum, right? 2 maximum non-negotiable must-dos for the day. Treat it literally like everything else that happens is icing on the cake. Okay, the second thing that stops us from hitting that reset button is what I'm going to call the connect-disconnect roadblock. Basically, we're so hyper-focused on the logistics of our trip that we disconnect from our body's signals, which, by the way, I talk about how to read your body's signals in Happily Ever Active episodes 2 and 16. You're staring at the My Disney Experience app, refreshing for a lightning lane time, checking weight of your trip that you stop listening to your body. And honestly, I don't blame you for this one either. In the last 5 years, the modern theme park experience migrated way more towards technology so that you practically have to be on your phone just to navigate your day at the theme parks. Disney isn't the only culprit for this. The system demands your attention, so it's natural that you miss your body's yellow light signal because you're way too busy looking at what's next on your plan. I promise you, though, that taking less than 5 minutes to check in with your body will save you 5 hours of stress, anxiety, and pain. The final roadblock that I'm going to talk about is the sardine mentality. Let's call it the sardine mentality. This is the belief that you simply cannot relax or stretch it out because you physically don't have the room. You're probably thinking, I can't do breath work. People will see me. And honestly, the introverted self in me thinks the same way a lot of the times. Or you might be thinking, I can't stretch my back. There's just no room. I'm packed in this ride queue. I feel like a sardine. This leads to the feeling of being trapped. And to be honest, it feels that way because it kind of is that way. During the holidays especially, the parks are more crowded than ever, and those ride queues can get real tight. But while the crowd is real, I am here to tell you that you can do something about it. That anti-meltdown action plan that we are about to cover, you can do it standing still, in a crowd, without anyone even knowing that you're doing it. I mean, I do it all the time when I'm in the Disney parks, believe it or not. Okay, so far we've talked about the physiology behind the Disney overwhelm, the incredible benefits of managing the Disney overwhelm, and what's stopping you from managing it in the parks. Now, how do we actually go out and fix this? I'm going to give you my anti-meltdown action plan, but instead of some long-winded, complicated routine that you have to memorize, you're going to get 3 distinct strategies that you can choose from depending on what your body needs at that moment. But before we get into those strategies, there is one non-negotiable prerequisite. You have to do this thing first, no matter which strategy you end up picking. Trust me, it's quick, but it is necessary. And that non-negotiable is diaphragmatic breathing. You can't even start to calm your mind if your breathing pattern is causing your nervous system to switch into fight or flight mode. Without diaphragmatic breathing, these next 3 strategies won't even work. Now, there are a few ways to practice diaphragmatic breathing, but as a doctor of physical therapy and as someone that goes to the Disney parks often and also often gets anxious being in big crowds, this one is my personal favorite way. This type of diaphragmatic breathing has been proven to work for the Navy SEALs because it helps control stress, sharpen focus, and stay calm in high-pressure situations. All perfect reasons for us to use this in the Disney parks. So let me talk you through how to do this. Start by placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Completely exhale all the air out of your lungs. Allow yourself to keep your lungs empty just for a moment. Slowly inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. And now, here's the trick. You want to feel your belly and your chest expand into your hands. Avoid raising your shoulders excessively. At the top of your breath, hold it there for a slow count of 4. Then slowly exhale through your mouth for a slow count of 4. At the end, hold your breath for a final count of 4. Repeat these steps 2 to 3 times. Amidst the chaos of the holiday Disney crowds, this stimulates the vagus nerve and tells your brain, it's okay, you're safe. Once you've done that, you can then pick one of the 3 strategies I'm about to talk about to help finish the job. Strategy number 1, the 5-4-3-2-1 method. This one works really well if your mind is racing, or if you feel dizzy from the sensory overload, or if you just feel scattered. I like this method because it works really well to ground you. So, wherever you are, stop walking. Stand still. Then look around and mentally acknowledge 5 things that you see, 4 things that you physically touch, 3 things that you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. Here's the most important part. You must simply acknowledge these things that you see, touch, hear, smell, or taste. No judgment, no opinions, no, I hear a kiddo crying and it's annoying, or I see someone wearing a band t-shirt and I just hate that band. Just call it what it is and be done with it. A kiddo crying. A man wearing a band t-shirt. Plain and simple. This forces your brain to switch gears from an emotional emergency mode and switches over to a logical observation mode. Okay, strategy number 2. This is called the 30-second body scan. This works really well if you feel joint pain, muscle tightness, or that hunched posture where your shoulders rise and your back rounds out, or your jaw's clenched. First, start by closing your eyes. Then start scanning your body from top to bottom. First, check your head. Soften your brow, unclench your jaw, and allow your tongue to drop away from the roof of your mouth. Then, check your shoulders. Let them drop away from your ears. Let them hang loose. Third, check your hands. Unclench your fists, wiggle your fingers, let them loosen up. And finally, check your hips and legs. Are you instinctively squeezing your butt muscles? Are you automatically locking at your knees? Let that tension go and slightly unlock your knees. That's it. Shouldn't take more than 30 seconds to do. This body scan helps you manually override that fight or flight mode and shut it off. Now, some people prefer to perform the body scan from bottom to top, others from top to bottom. Really, honestly, it doesn't matter where you start as long as you hit these main points. As you get better at performing this body scan, you don't necessarily have to close your eyes. Of course, at first, closing your eyes tends to help improve your own focus. But as you get better, as you practice this before your Disney trip, you can just soften your gaze and start to tune things out. Okay, final strategy. We're going to call it the shake and stretch. This works really well if you feel restless, jittery, or like you want to scream at something or somebody. The shake and stretch allows you to discharge excessive negative energy. Believe it or not, animals instinctively do this in the wild, specifically after stressful events. After they survive a chase from a predator, they literally shake their bodies to get the adrenaline out and allow their nervous system to reset. We humans can utilize this too. First, you literally just shake your hands out like you're drying them off. Then, bounce gently on the balls of your feet for about 10 seconds. Let the vibration just move through your body. Then, finish things off by putting your hands together and reaching as high as you can for the sky. Focus on the stretch going through your entire body. That's it. Those are my 3 strategies for the Anti-Meltdown Action Plan. Always start with the breath, then choose what your body needs next, whether it's grounding, a scan, or a shake and stretch. If you take nothing else away from this episode, I at least want you to remember this. Overwhelm is not a character flaw. It's a physiological state. You aren't a bad parent or an ungrateful guest just because you feel stressed in a crowd. It just means your body is in fight or flight mode. And just like how you wouldn't keep driving a car with that check engine light on, you shouldn't just try to push your body through the parks when your nervous system is cooked. If you fix the body by working on the breath, the tension, and that sensory input, your mind will follow. So, the next time you feel the crowds close in on you while you're walking through Fantasyland, or when you're in line for Rise of the Resistance, and it feels like that line's never going to move, don't just grit your teeth and push through it. Stop. Take a deep breath, scan your body, and ground yourself in the moment. That's all for today's episode. By the way, I have for you a 30-day Disney walking challenge, and it's designed to start gentle and then progress in length and intensity so that you'll conquer the Disney parks all day without burnout. Every day for 30 days, you'll be guided through your challenge with your walking workout for the day, an inspiring Disney quote, and a PDF worksheet to track your progress. You'll be amazed how much stronger and confident you'll feel by the end of the challenge. Head over to www.fitforthemagic.com/30 to sign up for that 30-day walking program. Now, I want to turn it over to you. What's the one thing at a Disney park, any Disney park, that brings you complete and utter joy? Let me know in the comments. If you love what you hear and you want to learn more, I encourage you to head over to fitforthemagic.com, where you'll find more resources on how to have a pain-free vacation. And if you enjoy this episode, please make sure to share it with anyone that might benefit from it. And of course, please leave a rating or a review in your favorite podcast app if you enjoyed the show. This helps me tremendously as I move forward with new episodes to come. I hope you'll tune in to learn more about how to have a pain-free, soreness-free, and exhaustion-free vacation so that you can make magical memories with your loved ones.